All right, welcome to this episode of the Semi Sages of the Pages. I'm Teresa.
And I'm Morgan, and I'm so excited to work on our first page critiques again today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to continue the one that we did last week. So if you didn't get a chance to watch last week's, really highly recommend it. We loved this creative nonfiction piece, and it was titled Writing Rosalind. Hey, Erin, good to see you. And we really just wanted to go ahead and finish it because it is a short piece. And last week we talked a lot about the main character. Now, the main character is a young girl who is. We had a lot of conversations about her parents.
Yeah, and understanding how they took her passion for literature and kind of one parent clearly turned it against her to exploit her. And then the other one is like a hoarder, we think, and right? And
Yeah, the mother
so
is.
there's some mental illness issues on the parents at play with this child who's kind of stuck in the middle. And so we're excited to learn more about how that manifests and how that comes out in the writing.
Yeah, exactly.
And as a fan of Rosalind Carter, like I'm pretty excited about that piece of it too.
So I think maybe let's do this. So I have the documents that we edited last week. I'm going to put it up on the screen in just a second here. I think what I'm going to do just to help us remember where we were is go ahead and do another quick read through of it. And then we'll start editing where we left off.
That's great. And I'd love to read it if that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and share my screen.
We'll be using the even better if method as usual, like all of our amazing viewers. So
Yep.
Understanding that this is an amazing piece of work, but that we want to give any and all feedback we hope will be helpful, and not expecting if it doesn't resonate with the author or the audience, don't take it. And anyone who's watching, please feel free to add your own comments about what you think would make it even better.
Yeah, always. I love this. All right, here we go. Okay, is that big enough?
A little bigger.
Little bigger.
Maybe so the sides don't show. There you go.
Got it? Okay,
Yes.
Here we go.
Romance novels were thin for me that summer. Books poured from everywhere in my room. Because when you boast that your daughter loves to read and will take any book, then anytime anyone eliminates Strauss from their bookcase, my mother can't resist coming home with paper bags splitting, plastic grocery bags bound up, stacked too high. She dumped them in my room, beginning a dreaded cycle. Dad punished me for having a messy space. Then, Mom would root through the trash to bring back every threadbare stuffed animal I'd tried to eliminate in favor of books. 2 giant garbage bags of Harlequin romance novels spilled out from under my bed the summer I turned 12. They all smelled of powdery must, cigarettes, and faint vanilla. After the first dozen, the transparency of the plot arcs led to my turning the current read into a spy thriller. I wrote a parallel book in my head about a paralegal who knew too much. Brad only wooed her to get the file. I had not figured out what the file contained, but it had to be mind-blowing for Brad to go to all this trouble. I sat on my bed while the paralegal received beautiful roses and a suspiciously well-written mea culpa from Brad. It was exactly what she wanted to hear. To not read a thing because it bored me had not yet occurred to me. The door banged open. I stood. The Harlequin discarded on the bed, blocking his sight line to the garbage bags of books. Here, make yourself useful for once, said my father, launching a hardcover book at me. I found out later in the day that book corners leave a peculiar triangular-shaped bruise. There wasn't any point asking what it was or why. I just picked it up from the carpet. First Lady from Plains by Rosalind Carter. You know who that is? Yes, sir. Jimmy Carter's wife. It's hard to get her autograph, but sometimes people write kids back. Too bad you're double digits, but we won't mention your exact age. Just talk about school and how you picked her book for a book report. It's summer. It's summer, sir. Consider yourself assigned a book report. Your choice, but choose that one. When you're done, I need a first draft letter to her on how much you admire her. Can I use a typewriter, sir? Are you nuts? What little kid uses? The whole point is it's got to be handwritten, lined paper. We'll work on making your handwriting endearing. What, like a backwards S? We're not going so far as that. Just read the book, oral report, write the letter, 3 o'clock tomorrow. He left, and I cracked the book open, inhaled, chemically sharp and sour. That summer, between romance novels, I wrote celebrities and enriched the stock of Dad's autograph store. I learned that you may send something out and not get so much as a form letter thanking you for your interest, or that which you might get back, or that what you get back might not be what you wanted. When opening one of the more anticipated replies at his office, Dad couldn't help but scream, "Fucking auto pen," as he balled it up and threw it across the room, missing the waste paper basket. Well, go pick it up. And don't tell your mother I cursed in front of you, huh? You can have a chocolate from the dish. Luckily, I read quickly because there were so many autobiographies and biographies to get through. As he said, finding out what a person likes and admires should be the start of every ask you'll ever make. Volume and perseverance were key. You could analyze failure later, but we waited for neither success nor failure to press onward. For all my father's bastard characteristics, while trying to wring ink from celebrities, he taught me lessons I would need as a writer later: the resilience to weather rejection and the basics of a query. I do not remember what I wrote to Rosalind. I recall not a single salient fact about Rosalind Carter, except that we had written a good 20 celebrities by the time she wrote back. It was a typewritten and signed by her hand. The end.
All right. Okay. Nice. All right. I think we left off here last time. I liked the changes as you were reading them. I really, really liked kind of the changes that we recommended.
I liked all but one. If we go to the very, very top.
Yeah, which one?
Go way high, because there was a lot of this sentence. When you boast that your daughter loves to read and will take any book, then anytime anyone eliminated draw. I thought that was way too many any's.
Mm-hmm.
That felt really
Your daughter loves to read and will take any books. Let me start from the beginning. Because when you boast that your daughter loves to read and will take any books.
Any book.
Then anytime anyone eliminates.
It felt too much.
Yeah, it's a long sentence.
Mm-hmm. When I read it, that was rough. I wondered if the old one was better. Because when you give out that your daughter, I liked boast better there. When you boast that your daughter loves to read and will take books, then anytime anyone eliminated draws from their bookcase. See, then you got books and bookcase again. What about something like, because when you boast that your daughter loves to read books, then there's a lot of that. And I think when you boast that your daughter loves to read books, then anytime
anyone.
What about a book is eliminated from the bookshelf, or a book needs to go, or something like that? But I love the word dross. It's so nice.
Mm-hmm. When you boast that your daughter loves to read.
I don't think you have to have books.
Yeah.
Because it's implied that you're reading.
Then anytime anyone eliminates dross from their bookcase. Yeah.
That's
my mother.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Nil.
Hey, Nil. Good to see you. Can't resist coming home, a paper bag splitting. Yeah. Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ruthin. Yeah, I like this idea, maybe even of breaking it. So, but I felt the any's were a little heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sentence is there now a tense issue? I was just looking at that.
I know.
Because when you boast that your daughter loves to read, okay, are we in present tense? No, romance novels were thin on me that summer. Books poured. We're in past tense.
Past
Because
tense.
when you boast, but that's an aside, and it's set off. So it should,
because when you
because
boasted,
it's breaking the fourth wall, right? You're talking actually to the author or to the reader directly, is my understanding of that sentence.
Yeah.
But to make it cleaner, you could just keep it with her. That, in fact, that could be the easy answer, because she was always boasting that her daughter loved to read books. And when anyone eliminated Dross from their bookcase, she couldn't resist, or my mother couldn't resist coming home with paper bags.
My mother couldn't resist. I think it does need to be couldn't.
Because the can't puts it in a hard present.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think that's what Erin, tell me if you think that that's what you were seeing, but I think. Other than that, when I was reading it, I was like, yes, 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 yes. Mm-hmm. This is great. Except when my little mouth was not wanting to be as good as the writing in the book.
But we have eliminates in present tense. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if it's because boast.
Well, that's because it's bringing it aside to the reader. Yeah. Because it all comes down to the word you. So when you decide to go second person, the second person choice to address the reader is a break in the wall, technically.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to the reader. So we break that fourth wall with it. And then that's where the tense issues come in from the verbs. Do you see that way, or do you see it different?
I'm wondering if this reads better.
Yeah, Erin, that's what I'm thinking too, is if you eliminate the you and keep it in the she.
Books poured, because when she boasted.
Mm-hmm. Or my mother, because we don't know who it is yet. So we could introduce my mother. When my mother boasted that I love to read, or her daughter loved to read.
Oops.
Bored. When my mother boasted, that's what I think too. Because it's the first time.
Boasted.
Yeah. Especially because it's so early in the novel, and I don't sense anywhere else that we were going to break the wall with you, with second person you. Then I think it's better to keep it in clean past.
Because when my mother boasted that I loved to read, that anytime anyone eliminated Dross from their bookshelves, my mother couldn't resist coming home with paper bags splitting, plastic.
And then I would just switch my mother there to she, since I think it's clear who the subject of the sentence is.
Agreed.
Okay, I'm liking that better.
Better, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Books
poured from everywhere in my room, because when my mother boasted that I loved to read, then anytime anyone eliminated Dross from their bookshelf, she couldn't resist coming home. You might even break that, or do an aside there. Paper bags splitting, grocery bags bound up and stacked too high, maybe even as a list. Or just leave it as a with. She couldn't resist coming home with paper bags splitting, plastic grocery bags bound up.
I didn't realize I wasn't in editing mode.
Yeah, maybe. Well, whatever the author decides, I think will be good, but I like the idea of having some choice there.
I like the voice in this one.
Yeah, it's voicey, which is why, and it has that tug on, this is unique.
Yeah.
And I really like this image of paper bags are splitting, and also it builds this idea of the hoarder. It starts to get the hoarder. And I wonder about adding the word and, because that's an addition sign literally in our brains. And that might add the feeling of piling up. So it's a tiny weeds thing, but maybe. No,
I don't know. I think that takes away from the voice of this one.
Okay.
But again, author's choice.
Fun. But that, I think, is what's so brilliant about writing. Is there are multiple, there's no right answer. It's the sound you want, the intent you want. And I love just playing.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go down to the new stuff, because that was I think hopefully that was helpful.
Okay, we're here. We're at it's summer, and then it should be it's summer, sir.
I really liked this.
It's summer, sir. I love the italics here. I think you can really hear his cadence. Consider yourself assigned a book report. Your choice, but choose that one.
Okay, is it her talking twice? Because it's hard to get an autograph with him, right?
Yeah, it's so she says, yeah. Oh, good point.
Yeah. So when I was reading that, I wasn't sure whose voice to read it in.
Yeah. So
because he would say, "Do you know who that is, sir?" She would say, "Yes, sir, Jimmy Carter's wife." And then that should be him again. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get an autograph, but sometimes people write kids back. And then it's summer, sir. I think you would cut the line at summer.
But she's objecting. So he's saying, too bad you're double digits, but we won't mention your exact age. Just talk about school and how you picked your book for a book report. And she's correcting him. She's saying, it's summer. And then he's correcting her. It's summer.
Oh, it's summer, sir. So you might want to she correct it. We might actually need. Have you heard? I've heard that as a lot of comments to authors to make sure to add dialogue tags for clarity because sometimes it's difficult. So like yeah, and then you know it's that you're reading it correctly.
I don't think we need.
You shook your head big. So as an editor, you find that with your clients, you must.
Oh my gosh, yes, that is so the two areas that I find, especially with very strong dialogue writers, is that in their brain, it's very easy for them just to go big, 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 big back and forth with the characters. And a lot of times dialogue tags get left out of that. The other thing, and it's not needed for this piece, you don't always have to do a dialogue tag, just an action or a beat that's specific to a character works really well for that.
Or even like a react, like maybe in here, a nice nonverbal reaction would be great.
It's hard to get. Oh, that might be intriguing. It's so you're right. It's summer. Something like my hands.
And I feel like I don't know enough about their relationship to write it. The author would have to write it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just playing.
It would be so interesting to know. Do they fold as she's sassy? Do they ball up because she wants to punch him? Do they shake because she's worried? I mean, in the end, she thanks him. She's like, he teaches her to write a query and he teaches her resilience. And he's not written super kind, obviously. He's written very exploitative.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I agree. I think we are missing an emotional beat here.
Because Teresa, can I clarify what that means? So by the emotional beat, you mean by when we give a nonverbal reaction, we help the audience know how to feel more about the relationship. So like a clue, it's like a little. Yeah.
Good points.
Yeah. But the tension is clear and the stakes, I feel like, are pretty clear.
Yeah, because he throws a book at her.
Which is why I would like to know if she's like defiant or scared.
See, I read it as she was scared, just based on the dialogue. But there's some defiance here.
It's when summer. You change that.
Yeah.
That it was her saying it's summer, and then he says it's summer, sir. And then she doesn't right away go, sorry, sir, or yes, sir, or you know what I mean?
She does. She says, can I use the typewriter, sir?
Is that the same? I see it a little different.
Yeah, there might be some passive aggressiveness in here.
Yeah.
Especially because
she doesn't apologize.
No.
She keeps it going, right? Which I kind of like. I mean, I like that about it. It also keeps kind of mystery.
A little bit, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I'd be curious to know too, is this the first time he's asking her to do this? I like the use of the word typewriter too, because this tells us a time frame as well. This is probably pre, oh, I don't know. What do you think? 1990, 1985?
I have in the 80s.
You're in the 80s? Yeah, I agree. I'm in the 80s.
I've been late 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, the Harlequin.
Early 90s, maybe.
I think mid 80s.
But by
Late
then we
mid,
had
yeah.
But you bring a good point. I really like your question. I think it's a really powerful question. We know she's going to write at least 20 more. And we know she's adding to the collection. So has she been allowed to use the typewriter before? And that's why she's asking again.
Mm-hmm.
And then why the condescension,
Yeah. Are you nuts? What little kid uses? The whole point is, and I actually would lowercase this.
Yeah.
It's got to be handwritten, lined paper. We'll work on making your handwriting endearing.
I wondered are you nuts? What little kid uses? I almost wonder about him like clearing his throat or again, an emotional beat, because he's clearly collecting his thoughts to change.
See, I saw him kind of almost not stomping away, but shifting his body away.
I saw that.
What little kid uses,
and then stopping himself, like he was going to get really angry, but he stopped himself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's different ways you stop yourself. There's like, ooh, like you clam up, or there's a, like you stammer through it. That'd be fun to know more about what the author envisions like there.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, we've got potential snark here. What, like a backward S?
Yeah.
Or it might be like, what, like a backward S?
So
like
maybe a little nonverbal from her, so we're a little clearer about her intentions.
Yeah.
And how clever she is.
Now, one thing you do have to be careful with, and I see this, you can add way too many emotional beats.
And this is good dialogue.
Balance.
So we're adding emotional beats because we like the characters and we like the dialogue. And the reason that I personally would like to know is I want a little clarity.
Mm-hmm. What emotion is the character feeling?
Mm-hmm. So I can connect deeper. I really liked this detail, 3:00 tomorrow. Wow. A whole book and a book report in 24 hours. She's like locked in her room. That felt so harsh.
Yeah. And so normally, and this was fascinating to me.
Me too.
Crack the book, inhaled. Normally, smelling a book is a positive thing. We hear about that all the time, about how people don't use ebook readers because they want to smell a book. We go into bookstores and they have such a distinct, happy smell. But not for this character. For this character, all she's smelling is chemically sharp and sour.
I felt like that was a reflection of her dad forcing her to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lack of freedom.
Yeah, I think that this is absolutely brilliant.
I thought that was really good writing. When I got to that and I was reading, I was like, oh, I hope I'm doing this justice, because I really liked, and I liked the break too. I liked the choice of fragments there.
Mm-hmm. It slows down the pacing so much, and it puts so much emphasis on this moment. Really, really well done. All right, that summer between romance novels, I wrote celebrities and enriched the stock of Dad's autograph store.
My temptation there is to get rid of wrote celebrities because I think that's implied and we already know that because that's what we're doing. So I wondered about just saying I enriched the stock of Dad's autograph store, because that emphasizes the exploitation and not the excitement of writing celebrities, because she didn't even know who Rosalind Carter is or anything about her, you know?
Mm-hmm. I wrote celebrities.
Why did you take out the between romance novels?
Oh, did I miss here? Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking just that summer between romance novels, I enriched the stock of Dad's autograph store because I feel that it's clear that it's celebrities that are enriching it.
Got
And
it.
I love this verb enriched.
Yeah.
I think it's such a nice verb. And I feel like that's stronger writing.
That summer between romance novels. And I like the callback.
I like the callback too.
Yeah. I enriched the stock of Dad's autograph store. Yeah, that works. I like it.
Is the that necessary in the next sentence?
No, I don't think it is. I'm per writing it saying it's not. I learned you may send something out and not get so much as a form letter. I learned you may send something out. I actually would wonder if this needs to be all one paragraph.
Yeah, because it's all the same idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, it's still sure. Absolutely.
And I didn't feel like it needs to be, this sentence doesn't need to be a call out on its own. I learned you may send something out and not get so much as a form letter. Thank you for your interest. See, okay. Oh, I get it. Or that what you get back might not be what you wanted. So this is tied to this next paragraph. But this sentence here is so ominous. Like I was like, why, what'd you get? Did you get like a murder weapon back? Or like food smeared?
Yeah, it's because
or
the fragment. The fragment is giving it the ominous feel.
Mm-hmm. And there's a bit of a letdown here. I understand that, like, if you're trying to get autographs and everything else, getting an auto pen back can be very, very frustrating. And Dad's reaction is very strong.
But I wonder if you cut a little bit, because I think I thought the auto pen was witty. So I wonder if you keep everything, just play just a little bit and say something like, or that you might get, or you might, or that what you get back might not be what you wanted. And then start the next sentence with fucking auto pen.
Oh, maybe.
So that it like jumps. And then Dad couldn't help but scream. You know what I mean?
So.
Because when opening one more of the anticipated replies at his office, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
that Molly has that famous saying that you lose the lead. She says that a lot. Like, is that how she says it, Teresa? Lose the lead? Or you bury the lead.
You bury the lead.
She said you bury the lead. And I think that would be an example of that. Is that right? Is that how she would apply that?
But scream.
We love you, Molly. We wish you were here.
After opening.
Yeah.
This.
Erin makes a good point too, bumping that or down coulds, because it's an intentional frag and we want it to pop.
Mm-hmm.
But with the fucking auto pen being dialogue, I think you could leave it up higher. And it might even pop stronger, the choice. I think that's really dependent on the author, the feel they want.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think either is really good.
After opening one of the more anticipated replies at his office.
I think you just leave it. Dad couldn't help but scream after opening. Yeah, opening.
One of the more anticipated at his office.
Mm-hmm.
See, now I feel like I broke it.
I don't know that we need at his office, because I think that preposition weighs down the sentence.
There you go.
So, yeah.
One of the more
Couldn't help
anticipated.
but scream after opening one of the more anticipated replies, period. Since we've done the fragment, I think now a little bit of
I think you could do this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's try this. Fucking auto pen. Dad couldn't help but scream after opening one of the more anticipated replies that he balled up and threw across the room, missing the waste paper basket. No, it's not quite there.
I would definitely end after replies.
Okay.
I would definitely put a hard stop there. And then I like scream. So you could say you couldn't help but scream as he balled it up and threw it across the room. Or it's office. Yeah, there's the change there to keep the office. That's smart. So it would read,
Couldn't help. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so it would read, fucking auto pen. Dad couldn't help but, oh, we have scream there. Scream after opening one of the more anticipated replies. Oh, we've got that right there. And then just, he balled it up and threw it across the office. Missing.
I feel like we're missing the action now.
But definitely change the room to office, I think. I think that was a good comment. A lot. Really good comment.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I like that. He balled it up and threw it across the office, missing the waste paper basket. So, okay. I don't love it, but maybe I'll see.
Well, what if you did the dialogue again? Fucking auto pen. Dad couldn't help but scream after opening one of the more anticipated replies.
How about
go and pick it up? He barked at me after he threw, something like that. Maybe licking the.
What about this? What about this?
Okay, let's see. Your turn. Go.
Fucking auto pen. Dad screamed after opening one of the more anticipated replies. He balled up the letter and threw it across the office, missing the waste paper basket. What about that?
I like it.
Did I take out too much of the person's voice?
I don't know, but I think choices, even better if, then they'll make it even better and even better and even better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good start. I think, well, go pick it up. I would make a new paragraph because I think his voice would change there a little bit, the tone. But what do you think about that, Teresa? That would be a good discussion to have.
No, I think this is a really fascinating piece of dialogue.
I do too. I think that's where the real meat is, and everything else is just the buildup.
Yeah, I think so too. Because we've got, well, go pick it up. And then again, that pause. And I think
so maybe there needs to be the emotional beat there again. Yep. He needs a tick, maybe, so we can see him. Like, does he lick his lips, or like you said, fold his arms, or I don't know. We both went for our hit.
I can see him he ran his fingers through his balding,
like running
his thinning hair,
sweat off of him or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, go pick it up. And then you're right. Then a beat, something triggered him to be like, oh man, I was a dick.
Yes. And then comes back and tries. So we like him a little, at least we're like, okay, he's trying. At least he's trying to hold himself back.
Yeah. Don't tell your mother I cursed in front of you, huh? What do we think about the
I like that, but I think it's in the wrong place.
Which one?
So I think it'll be like, well, go pick it up and don't tell your mother I cursed in front of you. And something like a little longer. So the first one and is 2 beats. Maybe that one could be 1 beat and the second one could be 2. What do you think, Teresa?
What do you think, like that?
Yeah.
And don't tell your mother I cursed in front of you.
Nope, not quite right.
Maybe this would be so character specific.
Yeah, the author's got to know.
Yeah.
That it builds. But I like this idea of just go get a chocolate,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. So just go get a chocolate. I don't know how to make it right. And in that one piece of, it's so well written that we know he doesn't apologize.
Right.
We know he doesn't admit when he's wrong. We know he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions. All of that is done in 2 paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
That he's emotionally frustrated. Yeah, you can see the Freudian stuff is all over the wall.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I have questions I'm thinking maybe this autograph store is failing and he doesn't know what else to do. And that's why he's using his daughter to try to get more autographs. And that's why he was so excited to get a reply, and just that letdown that we all have that. Queries are a great example of that. You get that email with that hopeful dread.
Yeah, and when you open it up, it's not your best. If it's a rejection, your best self's not probably coming out.
No. Yeah. So I think that's really good.
Yeah, really relatable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good, Teresa. I like that. I like what you're saying. It's good.
All right. Luckily, I read quickly because there were many autobiographies and biographies to get through. As he said, finding out what a person likes and admires should be the start of every ask you'll ever make. This is brilliant, too.
When I got to this, I was like, wow. I would have if I was reading my own novel, I would have highlighted that.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, I read quickly because there were many. Yeah, I think this is perfect.
That's sales genius right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks so much about manipulation too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not that you want to get to know their likes and what they admire because you care. It's because you're about ready to ask for something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Should be the start of every ask you'll ever make. It's brilliant. And then it continues with what he taught her. Volume and perseverance were key. You could analyze failure later, but that summer, just kind of calling back and reorienting the reader. We waited for neither success nor failure to press onward.
Not only does it do that, it creates a cozy anchor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For all my father's bastard characteristics while trying to wring ink from celebrities. That's brilliance. He taught me lessons I would need as a writer later, the resilience to weather rejection and the basics of a query. I had a little bit of a letdown here. I know we're hardwired for 3, but I kind of had wanted just a third something.
What about taking the most brilliant section and moving it down? What if for all my father's bastard characteristics, he taught me lessons I would need as a writer, the resilience to weather rejection and the basics of a query, all this while wringing ink from celebrities instead of the while. Because then wringing ink from celebrities is such high level diction. I think if you end on it, it'll give it that zing.
Yeah. And that really is because we've broken the fourth wall. The author is talking to the reader at this point. Yeah, that's really good. All this while wringing ink from celebrities. And again, this anchors it back in again. I do not remember what I wrote to Rosalind. I recall not a single salient fact about Rosalind Carter.
I almost wanted about an in fact, because it's I do not remember, I recall. I almost wanted I do not remember what I wrote to Rosalind. In fact, or in maybe more voicey.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that I don't recall. I love that the author chose to say, I recall not a single salient fact, instead of choosing, I don't recall a single salient fact. I liked the changing of the verbs, the order of the verbs there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm breaking up the I's. Let's see. Aaron had, you could analyze failure later. We waited for neither victory nor defeat to press onward. Let me see here.
But up higher, where it says you could analyze failure later, but instead of but that summer, you put a period.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be, we waited for, oh, there you go. We waited. So get rid of that summer.
Oh. Yeah. I hate it when it does that.
We waited for neither victory. I like the word victory there.
Oh, yeah. Victory's good.
Stronger. What's neat about that is then that will mirror the lessons of volume. It'll make clear when we talk about volume what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Waited for neither victory nor defeat to press onward. Nice.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So we got into actually more line by line editing for this one, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any developmental comments? I mean, I think your comments about letdown in areas, I think, were a little more developmental, but do you feel like we answered those by maybe moving the writing a bit? Or
Yeah, I think so. And I think adding the emotional beats as well. That was more developmental, being like, hey, we're missing some reactions, we're missing some emotions here.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, speaking of that, on the final line, I wonder how the the narrator feels. We're definitely left, if she doesn't remember Rosalind Carter, why is this letter important?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it was the start of this. I do not remember what I wrote to Rosalind. In fact, well, I think it's because it's not about writing, it's about the lessons that she learned.
So I wonder if that needs to come, I wonder if it's almost in the wrong order. To press onward, I don't remember what I wrote to Rosalind. In fact, I recall not a single salient factor about Rosalind Carter, except that we had written to a good 20 celebrities by the time she wrote back. It was typewritten and signed by her hand. And for all my father's bastard characteristics, he taught me. Because I wonder what his reaction to getting, was he happy about getting her letter back? If he was so mad about the other one, was like this one something he was really excited about? Then could use his reaction to segue into that really beautiful lesson paragraph and allow that lesson paragraph to come down. So that the very last line of this would be all this while wringing ink from celebrities or something,
Yeah.
So the lesson is at the end, maybe.
Let's try that. So it would go to volume and perseverance were key. You can analyze failure later. We waited for neither victory nor defeat to press onward. I do not remember what I wrote to Rosalind. In fact, I recall not a single salient fact about Rosalind Carter, except that we'd written to a good 20 celebrities by the time she wrote back. It was typewritten and signed by her hand.
And then I think for this way to work, I think the dad needs to react to her letter. We have some idea. And then when we talk about the father's bastard characteristics, the good thing about that is we saw him react horribly for the auto pen thing. And now maybe we'd see him act sweetly or something. We could kind of see his mania, or is he going to be mean even when he gets one signed back? Like,
right.
What are his bastard characteristics? Like, how far do they go?
Yeah.
This was fun. I love it.
Oop. Yeah.
And I love the gratitude of this main character. I really like this main character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do too. All right. Anything else on this one?
I put it all on the table.
I agree. I agree.
It was a blast. Thank you.
It was fun. Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and send this off to the author, so that way they have the notes and everything else. So this was fun. These ones are always so much fun to do.
I always love working with you, Teresa, and like seeing your editor background and how you choose to, what choices you choose to make. And
Thank you. It's really fun to work with another person to do this, because you get to just bounce ideas off of people. Yeah.
So if you don't have an author friend, our challenge to you is join our Discord, reach out, get an author friend, and have fun wordsmithing your stuff. Because I think not only does it make it even better but I think it's really can be rewarding both socially and intellectually.
Exactly. Now, we'd promised our viewers something, didn't we?
I hope so. Speaking of rejection, this author gave us the most perfect segue into dealing with rejections and queries, and what this bastard dad's characteristics taught us. We're hoping to teach in a positive way through the race to rejection, right?
Yeah. Now, what is that? That sounds so weird.
Right. So if you're new to our channel, we hope so much that you'll join the race to rejection. Or if you're like me, I hope I get myself back into it. In the race to rejection, you can go on our Discord and you tell every time that you put a query into the world for a short story, for a novel, to get an agent, whatever. And then you track all your rejections. And the more rejections you get, the more points you get, and you become a winner, which is exactly what our novel was just talking about. Volume and resilience is what matters, and if you're going to make it in this industry.
Exactly. So we've got two different ways that you can go ahead and put in your rejections. You can go on our Discord and do it there. You can also go to our website, www.nobadbookspress.com, and just follow the links to the Race to Rejection, and you just answer 3 questions. We take it from there. And then every month we're going to assign winners based on how many rejections there are. So this month we have a tie of our winners, and what I'll do is I will send our winners stickers in the mail, and our 2 winners are Erin Thursby.
Yeah, Erin's here. Woo! Winner.
And Chris Banner.
Yay!
So congratulations. You guys have graduated to the rank of citizen.
Because it's a fantasy noble world, of course.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep doing this. Next month, we're going to go ahead and provide another update. It'll be on the last Wednesday of the month. And anything else?
No, I'm just grateful to be here. Thanks for that. And I better go send out some letters so I can get in this race.
Yeah, you want to be a citizen too.
Yes, I do. I think, what does that make me right now? A peasant?
I think citizen is peasant.
I'm like lower than a...
Yeah.
Okay, I better go do it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to those authors who went ahead and submitted the story. This was a lot of fun to do, and we hope our comments were helpful. So take care, everybody.
Bye, Erin. That was fun, sweetheart.